Stranger Stories. This happened to me several months ago. I never posted it because I was genuinely pretty afraid when this happened and was worried about these people finding me. So it was spring. Spring had just begun in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I rode the number 4 bus to work every day, which ran between neighboring town Ypsi to downtown Ann Arbor, where I worked. I lived between the two cities. Ann Arbor is a very affluent town that I could not afford to live in, and Ypsi is a much more affordable town. I went to college and high school there, and while a lot of people from Ann Arbor thought it was a dangerous town, it was actually pretty safe. I never felt like I was in danger in Ypsilanti. My job was in downtown Ann Arbor, and the number 4 route took me to the hospital, which went around a loop in the hospital driveway. It's 8 a.m. and very windy outside. I'm sitting on the outside seat just before the loop. There's a bus stop right after the loop, but since I was almost at the back of the bus, the woman in the inside seat indicates to me she wants to get up. Rather than stand while going around the bus loop, too much centrifugal force, I quickly moved to a seat at the back of the bus. The seats are arranged in a horseshoe, and there are 2 other men sitting back there. One is sitting across from me, the other is sitting a few seats to my right. The man sitting at my right is talking to the man across from me, but as soon as I sit down, they stop talking. The man to my right says,
"Lil' miss."
I ignore him because I have headphones in, no music, and because I just get a very creepy vibe from him. As soon as the bus goes around the loop, I'm moving anyways. Now he screams,
"Lil' miss."
The guy across from me reaches his foot across and taps my foot and says, "Hey, he's trying to talk to you." I ignore them both. I'm getting a really bad vibe from them. We are just finishing going around the loop and the guy to my right says,
"Little girl, I'm just trying to warn you that some gang shit is about to go down, so I don't know if you want to be sitting back here."
I got up and moved because the lady sitting on the inside seat had gotten off. As I move, I hear the guy to my right say,
"Some little Ann Arbor girl doesn't know shit about gangs. Probably never been to Ypsi."
The guy across me responds, "Yeah, man, she moved real quick." So anyways, I space out a bit until I hear their conversation escalating. I don't turn my head, but I hear the guy who is across from me scream,
"Bitch, you stole my wallet!"
and the guy who was to my right, the Lil' Miss guy, respond,
"My name is Abdul Abala. I am a fucking Muslim. Do not fuck with me."
He then screamed at the top of his lungs until he ran out of breath. The guy who was sitting across from me responds, "Bitch, you stole my wallet." And the Lil' Miss guy responds by continuing to scream. They then start punching and kicking each other. I didn't turn to look back because I was afraid, but I could hear the sounds of a fight. The bus driver screams back at them to calm down because he called the cops, and the Lil' Miss guy responds,
"I don't fucking care. This shit's about to blow up anyway."
I immediately got off the bus, a few blocks from my stop. I ran off the bus, terrified. I watched the news for a while, looking to see anything about the bus incidents. I know they were just making a scene, but it was still really scary. I think anyone living in Ann Arbor would be shocked to hear my scariest experience was downtown Ann Arbor at 8 a.m. Bus terrorists, let's not ever meet again.
This story took place about a week ago. I was on the bus with some friends from a shopping mall in Australia. We were going to get some food from a place near our next stop and walk home from there. My friends were S and T. We were all 17. We each sat on our own seats, one behind the other, so it was S, T, then me. About 5 minutes into the ride, this athletic-looking man gets on the bus. He was white, mid to late 20s, possibly early 30s, wearing a rimmed tank top, shorts, and sneakers. His hair was short and blonde. I make note of him and move on. At that time, S was sleeping, T was reading her book, and I was listening to my music. The athletic man looked back at us, turned to T, and gives her a sinister look. My friends and I sat on the left side of the bus, while the man sitting on the right side, about 3 to 4 seats in front of us. I assumed that he thought T was cute, but thought, what the fuck, she's 17, looks 17, and the man's like 40. The man started to stare at T relentlessly, with a dead look in his eyes. T and S didn't notice at all. I looked back at the man, who then made eye contact with me. At this point, I was terrified and didn't even know why. He didn't really do anything. I didn't say anything. The man then stared back at T for the 3rd time. This time was even longer. I glared at him. I texted T saying, my bus stop is soon, around 10 to 15 minutes or so. Just so you know, some creepy guy is staring at you. Be careful in case he's still on the bus when I leave. I'm a male, T and S are females. T acknowledged my text and nodded back at me. T went back to reading, and I to listening to my music. The man turned around and started staring at me this time, not T. His eyes were locked directly to mine. I tried to avoid eye contact as he turned back around. He kept turning back around and staring at me for minutes each time. Each time he stared at me, he kept pointing at the bus stop button to indicate to the bus driver that it was his stop. He kept acting as if he's going to press it, then just looked back at me and stared right in my eyes. I told T again to be careful. Something felt off with this guy. My stop was coming next. I pressed the stop button, the bus stops, and I got up. Athletic dude got up as well and walked off the bus from the other exit. I proceed to cross the road, noticing the man following my every move from a distance away. I walked into the store I needed to get food from. As I walked around looking for what I needed, I see none other than the same man staring at me from across the aisle. The guy was literally matching my footsteps, speed and movement. Every time I moved my left foot, he would too. I walked into the self-serve machine only to have him follow me there as well. I looked back slowly only to see him giving me the most evil fucking glare I have ever seen. His eyes lock onto mine one more time, and he gives me the finger cutthroat gesture. I left my entire cart and ran home as fast as I could. I have no idea who it was, what he wanted from me, or if I'll ever see him again. I can only hope I won't.